Thanks for choosing to start the day with us. Family Life Mornings.
You can't help it. You just have to make jokes, don't you?
Right. That's I just do. Yeah.
There's a name for what you have. By the way, I don't know
Seriously?
if you knew this or not.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's an
didn't know.
actual condition. The Journal of Neuropsychiatry and Clinical Neurosciences. I grabbed it off your desk, Randy. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, yeah. I let him borrow mine.
But I looked this up, and this disorder is called Witzelschutz. And it's when you have this childlike or silly excitement.
What's it called
It's
again?
you. It's
Wait,
totally.
what's it called again?
Witzelschutz.
I had that last night for dinner.
You didn't. You had Wiener Schnitzel. That's something totally different.
Sometimes they make you smile. Sometimes they make you think. Sometimes they make you do both at the same time. Kind of like walking and chewing gum. Kind of. Family Life Mornings.
There's been more than a few times in my adult life where I said, I wish I had paid more attention in school. Like first through fifth grade, for instance. Like I didn't really love to read back then. Now if a certain book comes up, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to read this. Wish I had that interest. Or like history, for instance. Didn't really care about history. I love history now. So I wish I had more of those interests. And I wish I had paid more attention because if you heard, it's coming back to more and more schools, more and more states are saying cursive writing is being reintroduced to the school system. Texas, the latest state, to say in second grade they will learn cursive. And you're saying, well, what do we actually use cursive for these days? The only thing I can think of that I really use it for is signing my name.
Right.
I don't do a whole lot more than that. However, it may come in handy for those kids who take the field trips to the museums and they see things like the Declaration of Independence. Have you heard those stories where kids will see the actual Declaration
And they're
of
like, I
Independence?
don't know how to read that.
I don't understand what that says.
Yeah.
They
Not
don't
in
know
Times New
cursive.
Roman. I have no idea what that is.
So I know. So I could go back, learn cursive, and actually someone could understand my signature finally for the first time ever. That'd be a good thing.
No one could understand your
Well, if I took cursive, it might help a little bit.
Strong, like a cup of dark coffee. Okay, guys, you can stop flexing your muscles now. This is Family Life Mornings.
Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, one of the wealthiest women in the world. She has a vast number of servants at her disposal. But did you know that she wears something that someone else has worn before?
I feel like you have to do the voice.
Old socks? I'm sorry, that's a
And
bad voice.
that may be surprising.
Okay, what?
But then when you hear what it is,
I have a guess.
it kind of makes sense.
I have a guess.
The Queen spends a lot of time. What's your guess?
I would say it's a tiara
She wears a tiara.
that someone else
Oh, that someone else
has
won
worn
the
before.
Oh, maybe.
No, that's not what I have here.
Okay.
Okay.
She spends a lot of time on her feet. Her shoes need to be comfortable. She has a servant who wears all of her shoes first to break
Wow.
them in.
Wow.
Then, after they're broken in, they go to the Queen.
Oh, I
Can
never.
you
I
imagine
wouldn't
the
think
job? The job description must have one left foot, size 7, with a medium-sized bunion next to the large toe. It's the worst.
Oh, what a job. How about that?
They're here to infuse your morning with a positive outlook and a little caffeinated fun. It's Steve, Terese, and Randy on Family Life. A friend you can turn to.
Aglet, most people know what an aglet is now, right? I mean, it's a word you don't hear very much in the
Right.
everyday language, but it's that plastic thing on the end of the shoelace.
And when it breaks, it's so
Oh,
frustrating.
very frustrating.
Right.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that you see every day, even use every day, but you just don't know what the name of it is. It's like that metal part on a pencil up near the top. That
That
metal
holds
part.
the
Below
eraser?
the eraser.
Oh yeah, the ferrule. Yeah, it's the ferrule.
The ferrule?
Ferrule, yeah. And or you go to get your hot cup of coffee and you need one of those cardboard things that slip on the cup, right? The Zarf.
The Zarf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zarf.
Yeah, so now you know a couple things. So now, in one hand a ferrule, in the other a Zarf. You can now say that and know what you're talking about. Of course, nobody else will.
Right.
You go into a fast food place and they don't have the actual packets of the condiments. They have the like the dispenser you got to push, and they have those little cups that you can put like the ketchup
Oh,
in. or
yeah,
the-
right. yeah.
Those cups, it's not a fancy word. They're called souffle cups.
Oh.
It's a really tiny souffle, but I mean, they're called
Itty bitty
souffle
little
cups.
souffle.
And you go into the eye doctor to read the eye chart. You're really going in to read the Snellen chart.
Snellen.
Yeah, a guy named Snellen. Yeah, Dr. Snellen.
Snellen.
So
So the eye chart is a Snellen.
A Snellen chart. So actually, you could go in there. You could cover one of your eyes with a souffle cup as you read your Snellen chart. Go in today as you're getting your eyes checked on that. They may end up checking more than your eyes.
Ever find yourself sitting in your car listening to the radio even after you've reached your destination? Yeah, we get that a lot. This is Family Life Mornings with Steve, Terese, and Randy.
So how's your marriage today? Just hanging in there for the kids? I was listening to Greg Laurie, and he had some insights on that.
Should we stay together for the kids? Now, you would expect me to say no. I'll tell you my answer. Absolutely. But I have a better reason. Stay together because God told you to stay together, number one. That's the reason. Number two, yeah, kids is a good reason. And number three, your emotions will catch up with your commitment in time. Because in marriage, you feel a lot of love at first. And then it ebbs and it flows and it ebbs and it flows and it changes and you change and they change and life changes. But you're honoring that commitment. And then the love comes back emotionally stronger than it's ever been. That you don't feel it a day here or a day there, or whatever. The point is you keep that commitment throughout your life.
Almost literally 20 years ago, I asked that very same question to a pastor friend of mine. It wasn't my pastor, but a friend of mine, a really good friend who was a pastor. Because Audrey and I were struggling in our marriage. She had filed for divorce. This was 20 years ago, and it was pretty much over. And then we decided, okay, well, we're gonna try. We're gonna struggle. And I asked him that very same question. I said, Bill, the only reason I want to stay right now, to be honest with you, is the kids. You know, his response was, thank God for the kids. And he goes, eventually those feelings will catch up if you continue. That's exactly what Pastor Laurie said there. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, in the very beginning, I didn't know whether I wanted to stay in the marriage or not because those feelings were swaying up and down and up and down and up and down. But marriage is not a feeling, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
So then when that commitment stayed together, little by little by little, all of a sudden you wake up one day and go like, hey, I love my wife, right? And I'm going to make that commitment and stay in that marriage. And the great story as it continues, in about 2 weeks or so, we'll be celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary. And we praise God for that.
Lord.
Well, you could start your day without Steve, Terese, and Randy, but why would you want to? We're Family Life, a friend you can turn to.
Well, every year, or once a year, patients and staff at the University of Rochester's Thompson Health Hospital in Canandaigua are treated to a duck parade. A mother duckling chooses to lay her eggs in the hospital's courtyard and take care of her babies. Then when Mama Duck thinks the time is right, she walks up to the glass door with her bill and knocks on the door.
And then they say, we've got to submit this to insurance.
I'm serious. Nurses open the door, and the mama glass parades her ducklings through the hospital. Does this every year. Same duck, obviously different ducklings. And they go through the hospital, out another door into a grassy area behind the facility. And the other day, she led 13 ducklings on her annual route.
That's cute.
So all the nurses and doctors cheered her on.
Doctors. Quack, quack, quack.
They don't need a request to be your friend. They already are. Steve, Terese, and Randy on Family Life, a friend you can turn to.
Not going to be a day at the beach today, but that might be in your future. And if you enjoy long walks on the beach, what a great invention. I mean, if you love long walks on the beach and you also love finding hidden treasures, it's the metal detector flip-flops.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh,
On the
seriously?
soles. Yep, on the soles of the sandals, the little metal detector technology, and then there's a wire that runs up the side of your leg, and then you Velcro the little metal detector part to your, your calf, and then as you walk, la 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 la, beep 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 beep. Beep, 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 and then you stop and you dig it up, and then it's like, why didn't I think of that, right?
Detector flip-flops. Can I still wear my knee-high white socks with them?
Only if you wear your chartreuse floral Hawaiian shirt.
I'm in.
a fresh start,
A fresh cup of coffee
and fresh perspective.
from Family Life Mornings.
A movie theater in Texas believes people should be able to take their best friends to see a movie. Sure. In fact, you can even bring two of your besties, and it still only costs you the same $15 ticket, and that includes free soft drinks all night long. So it's kind of a neat thing. So if you want a night out with your best friend or friends, Canine Cinemas in Plano, Texas is the place to go. Yeah, it's a theater that welcomes dogs, so you can take your best buddy to watch the movie with you.
Can you see your dog drinking soft drinks?
We know you have lots of choices. Thank you for picking Family Life Mornings.
Back in 1981, there was a California doctor who worked round the clock to save a premature baby born at 3.2 pounds. And the baby boy grew up fine. Exactly 30 years later, that doctor was in a car accident. A semi-truck hit his car, but he was saved by a paramedic fireman. Yep, you guessed it. That same baby from 30 years earlier. God's working a symphony, even in your life.
Family Life Mornings with Steve, Terese, and Randy. Thanks for making us part of your day. We're a friend you can turn to.